Okie dokie nerds, welcome to another vintage video. Today we're going to have another trip out with Squee. And today we're using a list that Marta used to get a top 4 in a challenge at the weekend. And they lifted pin 2 MTG's deck list from previous challenges basically. And the headline act here is we've got these 4 subtleties in the main deck. And I've got a match against Wizard who's usually on Dredge. But back to the deck, it doesn't usually pop up like that. But yeah, so 4 subtleties main deck. This gives us a really high blue count, which is pretty cool. 15, 19, so that's higher than usual because we're struggling around the 16 range. Just 3 main deck figures, and then the rest is normal, I think. 2 traps, hollow ones, powders, wasteland, strip mines. So that's cool. That's going to keep the frogs off the table, hopefully. Yeah, good count there, decent green count. And then post board, I feel like we can build a better sideboard, but at the moment it's 9 cards directly aimed at Dredge, plus the Furies, plus the Vigor, plus the Echoing Deep. So I wouldn't be shocked if we're bringing in 15 here against Dredge, right? Does that line up really well with these blue cards? Plus Chalice, I don't know, I've not counted this. But that might just be like the cleanest thing ever. Yeah, look at that. All the blue and the Chalice goes and you get every card in your sideboard. But my concern is that we're kind of weak against other things. Like the combo matchups and that sort of thing. We have got the 2 traps, which are going to do some work. But we'll see how we get on. The list looks cool. I like the 4 subtleties. I played subtlety shortly after Bowman came out to see if that would help. But I didn't think it did, but we'll see how we do. This list has got some results behind it. So let's get round to this match against Wizard. So we've on the die roll, we're on the play. Wizard traditionally plays the Dredge deck. We'll keep this hand. And yeah, that's my whole sentence, I think. Wizard usually plays Dredge. They got a top 8 recently, a top 4 with Dredge. They've kept 7, no mulligan though. So, and like some people will diversify as they go into the leagues and stuff. But we're gonna assume Dredge until proven otherwise. And like a Noxious on this Vengevine would confirm as well, sort of thing. But game 1's usually kind of tough, but it's not unwinnable. So the Vengevine gets in, which is good news. We'll hit them for the 4 ball here. And we've got a Noxious lined up for our Bazaar of Baghdad to get that back. And we've got both of the traps. So I assume one of those is quite pitchable to the subtlety. Unless we get hit by something else. So here comes a Force of Will, pitching Force and Negation. Nothing I can do about that right now. And let's see. Because that doesn't narrow it down at all, does it? All we know so far is no Lurrus. Grief, pitching Creeping Chill. Okay. I think I'll let that go. I'd rather have the additional card in my hand. They're going to take one of them. I think I'd rather have the additional. The Noxious is what gets in the way of their Bizarre draw, so they're going to get rid of that for us. And I will subtlety a hollow one here. Because that just gets in the way and it's a bit annoying. And I assume this bottoms unless they're going to try and draw a card. But actually they can dredge 5 and then put it into play, right? So they might top this. But it will help us push through some damage. They're down 2 chills, I think. Yeah, they're down 2 chills. Discarded 1 and drew 1. Puts hollow 1 on top of their library. That's cool. And we're kind of drawing to another one of them things, another Noxious revival here. Or a Wasteland would be kind of mega. Ooh, I don't even need to look for it. So I will still spin, because that might find me a Squee or something. It just finds me more cards. I'm still going to take the Wasteland, because the Wasteland kills the hollow one that's on top of their deck. And now they're on slow dredges, unless their last card is a Bazaar of Baghdad. So we've got no plays, they've got no plays. Push them to 9 and hope that their first 2 dredges are kind of weak. So they've got the dredge off the Squee Imp, which is really just a dredge 4. Oh no, they had Noxious, okay. So they're going to draw their Bazaar, and then they'll activate the Bazaar and just push through the hollow one. So they hit nothing there, so that's pretty good for us. They found an Icarid, but no amalgams. I'm going to flip the Bazaar. We found a Squee and another Strip Mine. Well, if we're going to draw like this, it's not too bad, really. Push them down to 3, 4, 2. I can't do it. 1. Good grief. And they get an Icarid. The Icarid doesn't do anything, though. So I don't even know if the Icarid comes back. I guess it does, just because it's free damage off of the grief. And then they just have to hit something, right? A Narcomoeba and a Chill is what they have to hit off their Dredge 5. So good on us. Okay, they've conceded. I don't know if they were dead, but they were pretty close to it. And that sideboarding that we discussed at the beginning looks pretty good, right? Just... Oh. Okay, so 14 cards is what I need from this. That's what I end up with. Everything else comes in. And there's a few things, like the Echoing Deeps that we've got here. I like Echoing Deeps. I think it's great for the Bazaar strategies to have access to. However, I think at the moment, just with the metagame the way it is, in my personal opinion, I would prefer that to be a petrified field. The field is slightly slower, it costs you an additional land drop, but the petrified field can't be wastelanded. Whereas Echoing Deeps comes into play tapped as a Bazaar and then can get wasted. So with the field, you're guaranteed the activation on the same turn as the Echoing Deeps. Just you're down a land drop, but you're guaranteed the activation. And this list that we're playing today is so incredibly post-boarded against Dredge, isn't it? 4 leyline, 3 trap, 2 surgical. Plus we get all the Furies to fight Bridge from Blows with. Keeping in the misstep, because the misstep fights the Noxious. Which is one of the more important cards in the deck. A lot of the Bazaar mirrors come down to the battle over the Bazaar. So having a misstep can be great. Okay, so here we are with a pretty tempting one, but it is one of those things where we still can't win, so we're going to powder. We still can't win, so we're going to mulligan. I need the Bazaar of Baghdad to play the game, so I will keep the leyline in my deck though. And we'll go to 5. And this is good. We exiled some cards. 2 of our Vigors have gone. I'm going to drop Squee and Squee. No leyline for the opponent. There is a Bazaar of Baghdad though. That discards Shell, Icarid. Then they hit us with the Grief. Exiling Grief. And they're going to take one of these cards, obviously. Probably the hollow one, yeah. And then we're just going to hit them with the Wasteland. Very little fucking around there, I think. Yep, we'll just waste them. If they've got a second Bazaar or Noxious, then we're in a decent amount of trouble. But this is all kind of scripted. No Noxious just yet. But they know I also can't have an answer to their Noxious, so there's no reason to play around my sideboard, my graveyard's really annoying me. Oh, they just conceded the match. That's cool. That's cool. But yeah, no reason for them to play around Force Negation there, because they know I can't have Misstep, and they know I can't have drawn blue. So, but that's going to do it there, and I'll see you for round 2. Look at that, 9 minutes in, perfect. Okay, round 2. We're up against Acorn Locker, which is a name I'm struggling to get to grips with, because I don't feel like Acorns are particularly unlocked for it to require a specific profession of locking them in the first place. So it's an interesting one. Because they're usually quite already well put together. No doors or windows. Interesting. Right, anyway, we've got a mulligan. And we'll keep this. This is a nice one. Putting the powder on the bottom, that's quite easy. The bottom cards of your deck don't matter quite as much when you're playing the Squee decks. It can be nice to know that, oh my gosh, the bottom card of my deck's a lizard, so I need to get there exactly and slow roll the lizard I draw with 15 cards to go or whatever, that sort of thing. But in this case we can just put a powder on the bottom and keep cards with text boxes. That seems much better. Versus Dredge, where knowing the bottom of your card of your deck is a creeping chill is really big information. Right, so you need to get exactly there. So opponent's gone to 6 as well, which is quite exciting. They are on the play. No Lurrus revealed. Let's see if we can keep that up throughout five games of Vintage. Unlikely, but it looks like an Oath or Bug gamer, if you ask me. So we kind of need to draw into Force of Will, or Force of Vigor here. There's a Force of Will. Because this looks like a turn 2 show and tell, right? And there's a Force Negation. So I'm going to discard Vengevine, Serum Powder. And we have to hope to win this show and tell battle with our 1 piece of permission. And then after that we need to get them back down off of 3 mana with the Wasteland. It's going to be the rough game plan. What have they got here? Beseiju who endures. So it's just still not clear. Don't like the shuffle there because now there's a crap Serum Powder in my deck. So let's see what they come with, see if we need to fight it. Into Brainstorm. And that continues to not make it any clearer between Bug and Oath, to be honest. Because all of these cards appear in both the decks. And this is like one of the sort of like Delta helping no one, Jet helping no one, and no one helping no one. Cool. I'm gonna go with an end step Noxious Revival, I think. We don't really want to see fetch land activation here because that would indicate Flusterstorm. I think I am committed to the flip here. I think I'm just going to go Lizard, Force of Will, Wasteland. I'm not enamored by this, but I think this is what I've got to do. So I don't know what we're playing against. They didn't show and tell us, which is a pretty big game. Now I'm just going to sorcery speed my subtlety. We've got a Noxious for our Bazaars. They didn't show and tell us, they didn't oath us. They also didn't collect roof or Tarmogoyf us or something. So I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be thinking here. And therefore I think just pushing and presenting the best clock we can is going to be an avenue forwards. We've got Noxious Revival for our Bazaar Baghdad if we need it. Okay, they've got a fetch land here. It's just going to be like a push or something. Into the Floodmoor. I don't really have the time to read that, but apparently it's an unsummon. So we're up against Oath of Druids. And that's the first time we've really known, right? Maybe we could have deduced that from the fact that they had 3 mana and had no plays. Maybe we can deduce from that it is in fact Oath of Druids. If it is Oath of Druids, I feel like the push is good because we want to close the door. But if you want to tell me that sitting on my Force of Wills is better, then I'm also not in the market to argue, if you know what I mean. Like, I think either of those are fine. So here I'm going to discard Vengevine, Subtlety, Mindbreak Trap. and hold up the Force of Vigor. Get him for 5. At the moment our opponent has got 5 mana. If this turn they just go land go, then on their upkeep we will be vigoring the 2 emeralds to stay away from hardcast Atraxa. The 2 Moxen, sorry. But an Oath makes sense actually, because Oath won a challenge. Oath won a challenge at some point. That's a nice draw, because now we can get, if we feel like we need to, like they put Show and Tell on the stack, we can get up to, we can activate into Force plus blue. And then if we get through this turn without having to activate, we can also Noxious a Force of Will or a Subtlety or something. No, we've just won. Cool. So lots of thinking about shit that never mattered, and our opponent just died. And yeah, I would be happy with any, a lot of the plays on that turn I would have been happy with, sort of thing, where I pushed the Subtlety. But I think it was good to present. And I also think that I should be able to deduce from 3 mana no plays that they are in fact Oath over Bug. I think that spot's come up before. I discussed it with someone, and they said you just got to put them on Oath, because Bug doesn't have 3 mana, 4 cards, and no plays, sort of thing. Which is a fair argument. That was a few months ago, so I'm not going to go and find the specific spot that happened in. Against Oath, I like dropping a couple of these guys. Bring in the extra Vigor, and then the Echoing Deeps, because our Bazaars are under some sort of duress. But then max interaction, none of this crap matters really, does it? So a couple of lizards can go, we can be a bit more controlling. Subtlety might be a little bit loose, but 1, it's blue, B, it counters Oko. So it's got some additional text. And the main thing with Oath is not putting things into play until you absolutely have to. Until you're sure the game's under control. Right, so we've got a mulligan here. And now we've got a Bazaar. I'm going to keep... I'm going to put this lizard on the bottom. I feel like one of my subtleties are expendable. I feel like that's quite annoying. Actually. Leyline of the Void. I guess that makes sense. So Mox Emerald. Misty and pass. So let's take a draw step and see what we think and feel. I'm going to play my Bazaar. I'm going to just pass the turn. I've not got interest in looking for stuff right now. I'm probably not... If and when I do activate this Bazaar, I'm probably not too stressed about keeping Squee, keeping Red Lizard, keeping Subtlety. I think they can all go. Opponent's got Fetch, Underground Sea, to Presage. Truly great work. Cool, we'll activate then. I'm going to discard Vengevine, Red Lizard, Subtlety. Is that right? I mean, the other option is we could just put 2 things into play. Discard Lizard, Lizard, Squee. They've got 3 cards left. I've got a Force Negation. Maybe that is the play, actually. Lizard, Lizard, Squee. And actually just try and run the gambit. I don't like this. I don't think it's the most winning play ever. But I've got a Force Negation. I've got a Subtlety for Oko, but I'd probably negate that, to be honest with you. We're drawing to Bazaars, we're drawing to Wastelands. If they play a Tabernacle, I'm not going to weep about that. So Forbidden Orchard. And now, yeah, once again, Oath of Druids has no plays. And if they tap their lands, they start to get punished. Chalice of the Void, I'm not sure about. I guess I still play it. It's going to stop things like Mana Crypt, it's going to stop things like Lotus Atraxa, so let's just roll that one out for the fun of it. And any land for us is good here, I think, because if we can wasteland this Underground Sea, we're kind of in business, aren't we? I mean, a Bazaar's also great. So let's play Bazaar and attack for 2. And I think we're in a spot where we want to find more info before we kind of go too ham on the activations. But at some point I do need to go and find the Vigor. But I think I want one more card before I go and do that. That's a lot of subtleties. So we'll go with the Sorcery Speed activation, because we do play Hollow One and there are 4 of them in our deck. And I feel like for a matchup where our opponent doesn't play creatures, we're slightly subtlety flooded right now. So there's the Vigor, so 2 subtleties and a Squee can go. We don't have a Caracas. Oh, multiple Besages. Okay. That's a lot of Besages, right? Or do they actually just have more? I think I'll roll out the Vigor now. I'm not too concerned. They have got a Flusterstorm. That's fine. And that might not be fine, but I think it's acceptable sort of thing. Now if they play an Oath or a shot, okay, they've got Vexing Bauble. Good on them. Good on them. Interesting stuff. It's been a while since I've seen Oath of Druid. Like, obviously not like years, but long enough. But 2 Besages is kind of tough beats, isn't it? We're now essentially locked out of the game, and our best cards are just the Wastelands to keep them off casting spells. Dead to Oath, dead to Show and Tell. I think our opponent's living the Oath life there at the moment. Just struggling to draw additional relevant pieces of cardboard sort of thing. But they still got 5 turns, 6 turns to do that in. And they've got an extra look with the Bauble should they ever feel like it's that dire. But blue. Yeah, and that's probably the game there. Can't put that back on top. Okay, so I think that's good. We'll let them show us some cards, and I think that's going to be game 2. Strip, Citadel, and some nonsense. Cool. Yeah, so we were behind from the off, but you saw the downside of Oath of Druids there. I know they eventually got there, but just when there's a portion of that deck that just doesn't do anything. So you can draw 3 Show and Tells and then just die sort of thing. You can draw additional lands. You can draw your Vexing Bauble and your 3rd ley line and die. So It's one of these things. Oath doesn't have a lot of selection. It's usually just a ponder, a brainstorm, an ancestral, maybe a probe sort of thing. I mean, it's very powerful and it's very nice because you do have, one tinker, 4 show and tell, 4 oath, and a flash, which will kind of win the game on the spot, sort of thing. We'll powder this hand, nothing going on there. We'll mulligan this. We've got Bazaar, we've got a bunch of blue, so I'll probably just put Squee back on the expectation that they're going to push to leyline. They did not. Okay. So I'm just going to play my strip mine, I think. I like all the cards in my hand. I don't want to expose my Bazaar of Baghdad. They've got 7. Maybe I'm supposed to keep Squee over strip mine. I'll misstep. And now they're thinking, do they want to fight back? And I imagine they do, because it just locks me out of the game. Completely and utterly. Yeah, there's the Force of Will coming in. Pitching show and tell. And I'll negate pitching a force. It looks like that's all going to get through. We're going to untap. Top deck blue card and strip mine them. No dice. But I guess that's fine. So let's just hit him with the strip. Set down a mana, and then we'll flip and put Hollow One into play. And that's our game plan. They've got 4 cards. If they've got Landmarks Oath left over, then congratulations on this round. But we traded some resources and presented a threat. And dodged the first 2 pieces of hate, right? So yeah, but we lose. And this list can't remove an Atraxa from play, because there's no Caracas. So let's go to the next round, and I will see you there. Okay, round 3, we're against ZZH. Don't know what they play. They have got the old Paddington Bear promo over there. We've got 2 Bazaars and a Vengevine, so that's quite cool. Lurrus of the Dream Den is the card revealed over there, so that's not great for us because it's just not really. But that Force of Will looks pretty good. Quick clock and a little bit of permission and interaction can help, especially when your opponent's heavily incentivized to take a bit of damage in exchange for wastelanding you early doors. So if our interaction can get through, then that's cool. Okay, opponent's turn 1. Underground Sea. Mishra's Bauble. Baubles himself. Does that mean they're holding a Lorien? They're holding a Ponder. Interesting. Maybe they really like that card and they want it now. They do not use up Ponder's ability and they draw a card. Okay. So we'd like our activation to find us a wasteland, because the longer we keep them off of 2 mana for their Bowmasters and Frogs, the better. Subtlety's a nice one. And Master of Death's a nice one as well. I don't need Master of Death right now, and I can just come off of the Noxious. and attack for 6. I'm going to slow roll this Bazaar, I think. Yeah, I'm going to slow roll this Bazaar because that can be a card we can discard in the future if we don't need to play it. Another Underground Sea into Time Walk. I've got no issues with a Time Walk. Maybe I should take issue with Time Walk actually, because if I get that counter spell through, then they can't have Spell Pierce or Fluster over the top once they've made this land drop. Yeah, maybe that was kind of wrong. If they're just out here pondering, then we're probably fine. I don't know. So what I would trade 2 cards for 6 damage, which might actually be a perfect spot to be in. Opponent has a Brainstorm. I'm just going to let them roll. I guess one advantage playing Bazaar there is I could have activated on their end step and discarded Force Negation plus the 2 we draw. And then had that found any Vengevines in the top 2, then I get to untap and play double Subtlety to bring them back. They're going to have a look at my top card now. They don't want the cards on their turn. On my turn, they want them on their turn. So that's interesting as well. That's a Force of Vigor. So I guess we can activate. And come off the second Bazaar. Attack for 6. And the reason we're coming off the second Bazaar is I believe I have the resources to win this game. I see Fatal Push. That makes sense. Okay. So I'm just going to wasteland their Underground Sea. Cast a Hollow One. And do I Subtlety to bring back? No, I don't think so. The Vengevine, I don't think so. I think I can actually just pass the turn. Subtlety all creatures. Bowmasters, frogs, Tamios. And then if they have no further plays, we can then just Subtlety again for the memes of it all. And that will work. That's an Undercity Sewer. Tapped land doesn't look great here. They've not had a wasteland this whole game. So, and this should convert, I think, because we're going to get the Master of Death back. Yeah, and we're going to activate the Bazaar face into the Bowman. And now we can Subtlety pitching Force Negation. Which is 1 creature spell. And then when they fight that back, we can Subtlety pitching Force of Will, which will trigger this Vengevine. And if they don't have anything else, we can just win more and put this Vengevine into play as well, the one that's in our hand. But we want to activate now because that's going to get the Bowman on the stack. Okay. That happens, my Bazaar resolves. Discarding Vengevine, Master of Death, Force of Vigor, Wasteland, Wasteland your face, cast Subtlety, attack for 14. That's a game. Is this it? Is Subtlety the answer? I want some Furies and I'd like the Echoing Deeps. I'm not too worried about Mindbreak Trap. I genuinely don't really like Negation against them either. I'm going to run the Gambit though and drop a Vigor and a Negation. Or maybe I should drop a Chalice over the Negation. Yeah, I like that more. So the reason I'm going to drop a Vigor for now, and it might be a bit punty and it might be a bit aggressive to do game 2, is a lot of these sideboard plans against us at the moment are Crypts and Soul Guides and Tabernacles, which we don't really need to destroy, right? Because we just kind of don't. And then the Furies can come in because they're going to fight Yix the Jailer, which is the other card that they typically have for us. Okay, we've got all of our Bazaars in one place. And if they needle me, they needle me, and we're very sad about it. But I do have 2 Vigors. 0 of which are in exile. And that looks like a Bowmaster, doesn't it? Oh, no, it's an Ancestral. Okay. It's going to give me a free unaccosted activation though, so that's quite nice. And we've got 2 Squees here already. And a little Lizard. And I'll come off the Subtlety for a moment, which might be poor form because of the presence of Psychic Frog. But I like everything else that's in my hand, you know. Maybe I don't need 3 Bazaars to get through a game against Lurrus Saga, but... Opponent ditches a Ponder. Floated Strand. Vexing Bauble's a problem. And Psychic Frog's a problem. Okay, so we're probably dead here. So this all went kind of horribly wrong. I wouldn't be able to fight the Frog because of the Bauble that would have come down first. And I don't know how much I'm going to play into this game. I discard the Master of Death because I can Bazaar again. Okay, so Lizard, Master, Squee. Cast the Lizard, Lizard gets countered. Cast the Subtlety, Subtlety gets countered, 2 Vengevines come back. And this is the game now, right? Is we just try and cast as many creatures as possible. And this is what Subtlety is going to be really good at, is just putting a lot of creatures into play. Consistently. Like next turn I've got 3 Squees coming back into play. We're going to get 2 to 3 cards out of their hand now with the Frog. Or they're just going to chump. No, it's a Brainstorm. Force Negation. Force Negation. So yes, they have a 4/5. But we did get to Lava Axe them. We don't actually have any plays to make because of the Bauble. But we've got 2 Bazaars guaranteed next turn. Plus a Master of Death. 2 Masters and a Squee. So we've got lots to do, and we'll be very good until the first Bowman comes down, at which point it's over, right? So that's a Wasteland, that's fine. I've already got another Bazaar rolled up. They purchased Lurrus. So maybe we can just hit him with a Wasteland this turn then. Try and keep him off Lurrus. They don't attack with the Frog. I get everything back. 3 cards in hand over there. It's interesting because I could have had the Subtlety for the Frog, but that, you know, is only a turn delay. And they had the Bauble. This is a spot where that null elemental blast we played last time would be really quite great. Yeah. So same as last time, Lizard, Squee, Master. Lizard gets countered, Subtlety gets countered, pitching Force Negation. Attack with all of the cards. Vengevine gets triggered. I know I could have gone looking for another one, but I'm actually just going to wasteland their Underground Sea. Post-combat. Push in for 5, because if they miss a land drop here, then they won't have a Lurrus. Wasteland this card. If they can make a Lurrus, they can make a Lurrus, and that's not great for us. I mean, Lurrus is just a 3/2 lifelink, to be honest with you. At this point, they've not got anything they can play out of the graveyard with it. And yeah, if we can present another Vengevine, we will in fact be gaming. So they're discarding Force of Will, which they can't cast, to make a 5/6 frog. And Time Twister as well. And Daze. And Lurrus. So they're just going in for 8. Caution to the wind here. Just, they're saying, I'm going to kill you next turn if you don't kill me this turn. We fortunately have 2 Bazaars to just go and look for everything with. We've also got 2 Squees in our graveyard, which are going to stat up, pad our hand. We get cards into hand, hands in the card good. So Squee, that's kind of not what we need right now. Uh-oh. So Bazaar for 2 creatures here. Nope. So we die. So they just take to the skies and hit us for 8. Close, but cigarless. Now I'm going to cut 2 negations. I know they're good at casting subtleties, but I think just Chalice on the play, Fury are good cards after all. So next game, I don't know if it's game 2 or 3. Hopefully we keep 7 though. We are on the play. We do have a Bazaar and a Chalice. They've got a Lurrus, 2 Bazaars and a Chalice. So we'll activate first. 2 of these powders can go away for sure. And if we can find a hollow one to kind of bait with first, I think that might be kind of cool. Or maybe Chalice is worth baiting with and then playing the hollow one afterwards, actually. Yeah, I think I'd prefer that. I think I prefer that completely. Oppo Moles to 6. And they stick there. Cool. So we play Bazaar for a change. And yeah, we'll just discard the 2 powders and the Vengevine, and now we'll cast a Chalice on 0. And it gets through. Hopefully that slows them down somewhat. Hopefully it's just a wasteland hand. Or like a Undercity Subers hand or something like that. So I can beat Wasteland, right? So Underground Sea and nothing, cool. So we get to just waste their brains out, really. And we can come off the Noxious, I imagine, because that's not really doing much for us when we've got 2 more Bazaars in hand. that we don't plan on playing. I'm going to discard a Bazaar now that I've drawn that Vigor, actually. Change of plan. Changed my mind. Still got a Bazaar, still got a third Bazaar through this Noxious, but we might just like to pitch it if they play like a Saga or something. Island, okay. Island is acceptable, if not slightly annoying. Wasteland doesn't do it. Two creatures do it, so let's just come off the green cards for now. And then we can play Wasteland 2 and stay against Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale. Play around Days here as well. So these are our threats. This is the game plan. If they pass the turn with 2 mana, then we probably don't activate Bazaars next turn. Or we can Wasteland them first. If they play a Frog, that's quite annoying. That is quite annoying. But we can trade this card for all the Moxen that are dying in their hand. That's a Squee. I'm just going to activate now. And discard these 3. And then we'll attack with probably just Vengevine, I imagine. And then we can do something like Wasteland you. See how many zeros we got with our Chalice, shall we? So Spell Pierce goes. Push as well. Time Walk. I'm going to play Bazaar, flip my cards over. Got a Lizard. Vengevine comes back. I think I do like the Wasteland on Underground Sea, though. I know we're playing headfirst into Tabernacle, but just... They've only got 2 cards. Yes, that might be Land Bowmaster, but... I think that's something we have to just contend with. I think Land Bowmaster is far more prevalent than the 1 to 2 Tabernacles they've got post board. What a horrible draw. Okay. Maybe I could have slow rolled Wasteland. We're going to flip 1 Bazaar over. In our upkeep. Then we'll pick up Squee and use the other one to filter. And we've got to hope that in the top few cards there's a Strip Mine. Opponent draws a card. I would like to pick up Squee first. Then Squee can't get Ravenous trapped. Out of the graveyard. Not that I expect them to play Ravenous Trap, but... Okay, so we did get maximally punished as you can get. All our creatures go to the graveyard, the game kind of ends. Maybe my Wasteland was a little bit spewy. Maybe we should actually be able to find that, because they've not done anything hateful, have they? I didn't flip my Bazaar. I just top decked the Strip Mine. Cool story. So let's kill your island. Yes, please. I would like to kill your island. And then we can probably just flip everything sorcery speed, right? We don't want to play into the Bowmasters too hard. I know they can't have it. Then yeah, we might be able to hit something like this, where if we hit another lizard, we get to attack for 8. We don't hit another lizard. Okay, well we'll cast this one anyway. So their frog's dead, our lizard's dead. They've got 3 cards and no lands. We've got 2 bazaars. We've got a wasteland, sure. I've got 2 bazaars. I get Squee back. Oh, I did it again. I didn't flip my bazaar. Oh well. I'm sure we'll get over it. So that's a Vengevine. Actually quite like Noxious Revival. I think I might hold on to it. And the reason to hold on to it is we can then pick up Wasteland. Oh, they've got nothing. Okay, we fucked up again here. I didn't really think. I should have... They've got Force of Will. So what I should have done here, right? I can do it now that they've put something on the stack, but I should have held priority and activated this Bazaar of Baghdad in response. Let's flip this time. We've got 28 cards. That's another Wasteland gone, which is quite unfortunate. And now we get to pick up some stuff. And we find a Master of Death. That's just the 3 easiest discards in the world. Is it though? Do I discard Fury? How many Vengevines have I got? I've got 1, 2, 3 Vengevines in the yard. We've been through 1, 2, 3, 4 lizards. And we've got half the lizards. We've been through 1 entire hollow one. I think I like holding the Force of Will. I don't know if this is particularly helpful having my graveyard up here, actually. I don't know what's easier for you guys. I prefer it down in the bottom left. Oh, they've got 2 wastelands. That's fucked up. Okay. And that's all of my bazaars. 1, 2, 3, 4 bazaars. 1, 2, 3, 4 Noxious. So we're just dead for Bazaar of Baghdad's. So we've just got to get all the way up. Oh, this game just got exceptionally hard. So we've got to get all the way up. 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 strip mines. And strip mine, we need to find the wasteland. We need the wasteland. Oh god, was this the game that I mulliganed wasteland to the bottom? I can't imagine mulliganing wasteland to the bottom. That's kind of broken the whole game open here. I continue to have a chalice on 0. That hasn't changed though. But when we were 2 bazaars facing 1 wasteland, we were like incredibly winning. Okay, that's a great draw. But we will slow roll this until the turn we try to put our Vengevines into play. Yeah. I've got 5 cards and they're all crap. So that's quite cool. But this wasteland is exactly hitting that tabernacle, nothing else. Subtlety is a nice one. So we can now start discarding Squeeze. Oh, hang on. I should have done everything now. I should have gone for it now. I'm stupid. Oh well. I could have put everything into play and attacked for 12. We've just given them a turn. Underground Sea. Into a Delve spell. Which we negate. and then they force back. And I just don't believe I can actually force a will here. I think they've got to get that. They've got to be allowed it. Because I need to be allowed to cast this subtlety, right? Oh yeah, I just missed so much damage that turn. So much damage. Oh, I'll tell you something cute I've just missed as well. Sorry, I'm missing everything today, good grief. I could have subtletied my own Fury. Oh man, I've missed so much this game. I am not particularly pleased with the way this has gone. Like, it's fine, we're in a good enough spot, but... like, one Frog and one Bowmaster doesn't save them here. But imagine if their game plan here is to push one, fetch... I don't know, they can't quite get to the mana, can they? But, like... topping the Fury there was exceptionally cracked. So it just clears the blockers next turn. Right, never mind. 2 Tabernacles, they can pick one, and I'll wasteland the other. Perfect. So, many punts on the final stretch there from ourselves. But, hey, look at all your cards. They look good. Yeah, many punts on the final round there, but we did manage to push through. We gave them just an additional turn for no reason. Could have had a Fury on top of our deck to clear blockers this turn. Was that necessary, you know? But hey ho, we won against Lurrus Saga. Is subtlety in fact the truth? Okay then, so from Lurrus Saga that we've just won into CRK, who's been having a lot of fun with prison shops recently, which is the actual factual nut low for us, I believe. Whilst the Lurrus Saga decks are difficult, you have some cheese equity. Against shops, I think I'm not afraid to say that I think you're like 0 to 5%. It's one of the worst. We'll powder this hand. I'll probably just keep like a rando blue Squee in my deck, I guess. I don't know. Bazaar's 2 blue Squees. Noxious to get our card back with if we're not under a sphere. Looks great. Looks great. Hollow one would be a nice draw, but I'm not attached to anything. How do you play? I think you play like this. I think the aim here is to kind of build back, right? We've mulliganed, not low, but we have mulliganed. And we want to be able to build back into this game with our 2 Squees. Hopefully opponent's play is just something like Wasteland you go. Oh no, so they're off the shop life. They're on the Sapphire life. No Lurrus. Could be Doomsday. Could be Oath. Don't get Tropical. Could just be Bug. Don't cast a Frog. Immediately cast Frog. Cool. Okay, so... well, fuck. So that's 2 instances where I've come off of Subtlety and immediately got frogged. I'm unsure what the main game plan is from here. I can put a Vengevine into play and eat a bunch of their cards. I'm not sure that's particularly good. I think we can just fight mana. for a while. Both players have a card advantage engine. Ours can get Force of Will after a Wasteland, though. Maybe I'm too attached to this Vigor. I should have a Master in hand. That I would accept as true. Opponent coming in. If opponent's not pumping, then I am definitely chumping. Yeah. Keep him off the card, because that just might mean we're missing land drops over there, you know? Maybe I've been too attached to this Subtlety. Mox Emerald. Okay, interesting. Into Deathrite Shaman. I hate everything that's transpired in the last few minutes, to be honest with you. Please no Wasteland. Please no Wasteland. Please no Wasteland. Good. So I guess I Vigor here, pitching Noxious. If that pulls out the Bowman, that pulls out the Bowman. It does not. So now we're guaranteed a Vengevine, but we're going to go and see if we can find more Vengevines. The Force of Will. To a lot of blue cards. So let's just go discard the card that would like to be discarded. Cast this. Don't think I'll Subtlety my own creature. I think I will just pitch Negation here. Get back my Vengevine and attack for 4. A Force of Will to Subtlety, apparently, which makes no sense because that's not going to stop anything. One thing I have fucked up here, so Subtlety doesn't resolve, nobody cares. One thing that I have done wrong here is I've played my Wasteland at the wrong time, because now they can Wasteland and push. Not Wasteland. Now when I Wasteland them, they can push my Vengevine, is what I'm trying to say. No. Cool. And now they need a green source to fight my Masters. Or a Wasteland just to win the game. Cool. So green source starts fighting my card advantage. Wasteland kills me. I don't really like any of those options, actually. Mox Jet. Exiles a Wasteland. Collector Roof resolves. Cool. So we survived that bit. We still have the big frog problem. Another Force of Will. So their spells aren't getting in from now on. I am going to attack. They're going to block. Oh no, they're not going to block. Okay, so they're just trying to race me. Interesting. Interesting. I might fight an Emerald here. Oh, Emerald's dead, sorry. So they take to the skies with the Psychic Frog. And that's perfectly fine. They discard a Collector Roof, which they can't cast. Interesting to play the Youth there, no? If you're not attacking with the Youth, or you're now blocking with the Youth, but you weren't blocking with the Youth before. You double blocking with Deathrite Youth. Don't know, they found the Wasteland. We lose. Okay. These two can come back. Oh, we win. that's not true. We're still quite far behind, I think. And then I'll attack with the Vengevine. I don't know how to defeat this frog. Actually, so coming in with the double. Nice. So they get their jet back. We're running low on life points. They eat my Bazaar of Baghdad. That's probably fine, I imagine. They've got white mana floating. That doesn't mean anything to them, though. So one card and a frog, and we've got a Bazaar. I guess I want to chump in there, say fly. They should probably fly, though, shouldn't they? Discards a Verdant. Oh, so they don't care about the card, they just care about the counters. Weird. They have a Nethergoyf. Which I will counter with a Misstep, which might be wrong. I can see countering with Force of Will in the card there because the life points are tight. I don't know though. I will bring back both of these, which means I need to bring back Vengevines ASAP. Really? How many Vengevines do I have? 2. I can't Noxious anything, so enough of that talk. So we're dead next turn. No, I think I just play the Hollow one and hope to reanimate next turn as well. I can only bring back one of my guys. They've got one card, I can only negate. I can't. I can only negate, I can't Force of Will. Well, actually, if they play a card, then. So they could take to the skies. I feel like I've messed up here. At one point, a life from the Misstep is really punishing me here because I can't pick up both of my masters. I can only pick up one of them. I can only pick up 0 of them. So that's the game. Is just top deck 2 creatures. Pray they didn't top deck Wasteland here. No, they didn't. Cool. So that's the whole game then. No to these. 5 cards. 2 creatures. There's 1. There's 3. Ooh, I nearly pressed no. Cast this. So that was sweaty and difficult. Worse than it needed to be. Let's flip the Bazaar. Let's even discard Hollow ones here. Well, thoroughly undeserved, if you ask me. So I want these 6. I don't want Chalice. I don't want Negates. I don't want Traps. I need to cut 1. Maybe we can just trim a Squee. $15 blue is acceptable at best. See you for game 2, I think. Okay. Mulligan. Powder. Save a Vengevine. Cool. Keep this. Get ley lined. Go to game 3. Perfect. Just how we drew it up. Kept ley line on 7. Seems unfair. Seems unfair. I exiled a Force of Vigor. They've got an Underground Sea and nothing else. Should we just wasteland them? I think so. I think that sounds fun. No, thank you. So that's quite annoying. I mean, I can't do anything is the thing, right? I got 7 cards. I'm just going to take a draw step before we expose the Bazaar. Nox Jet's probably not fine, but I've let it resolve anyway. Into 2 Wastelands. Romeo. Man's kind of killing us over there. So I probably am required to act when I'm on 8 cards. We'll fight the Bowmaster with the Force of Will. Yeah, my land's dead. Okay. Okay, so this one can go, and then it doesn't matter, right? Negation, Subtlety. And then we'll pass to their turn, blow everything up. Our next Bazaar is also dead. Yeah, cool. No, thank you. So holding the Master here, because if we hit the Bazaar, then that's our engine. Two cards for the opponent and a wasteland, 2 cards for us and no lands. So 3 cards for the opponent after their draw step. Straight into land. Okay, so now we sit here and wait and watch. Many clicks. Oh no, we can just make all of our lives easier apart from our opponents. They have to click through, we don't have to. Tropical Island. Do you have an Oko? I will counter an Oko. No, we've got a Force of Vigor. We've got many lands. More lands, really. Another land. And a Bazaar of Baghdad. So we've got a Bazaar, we've also got a Graveyard. Let's activate the Bazaar, fight the Bowmaster, pitching the Misstep. Okay, no, they just wasteland me immediately, thank you. So, Lizard, Vigor, Master. Any complaints? No, no complaints, cool. And I've made a land drop this turn, but I will have an Echoing Deeps next turn. Which will be tapped. Opponent doing sweet nothing over there. And then if the Echoing Deeps doesn't untap, then we will have the Noxious. I'd like a Bazaar of Baghdad. Thank you, please. Attack for 1. Opponent's got 3 cards, 4 mana. Fatal Push. Cool. Not worth the fight. Leyline will be worth the fight though. So let's Pitch the misstep, I guess. That worked, that worked, that worked. We are gaming. I still don't need the second Bazaar just yet. I do like the double Hollow on life. So Lizard, Master, Noxious. We might just get tabbed, but good on them, you know? If that's the case, that's the case. We can continue to build into the game. That way if we have to. Opponent's got 3 cards. Leylines can probably just get into play now. The main card we need is Wasteland, just to insulate against that Tabernacle at Pendule Vale. Opponent doesn't feel like playing anymore. We beat Lurrus and Bug this league. Holy hell. Okay, new round. We're up against Dragonov, who don't know what they play, don't know why they play, don't know what the motivations are. Got 2 Bazaars. I feel like I've said that a lot today. Has it been one of those Squee leagues where it's been like, I kept 7 and I had 3 Bazaars and somehow I managed to claw a victory out? You know, I don't know. I feel like Subtlety's been good though, right? Subtlety's been pretty nice today. I'm in that time of the year as well where I don't want to look people up too much. Looking people up is obviously a great advantage for making plays and stuff. But we are approaching the Eternal Weekends, and at Eternal Weekend you can't look up your opponent. So, you know, probably better to get in the habit of playing blind. I am trying to increase the amount I record as we approach the Eternal Weekends, so people have got things to look at. But yeah, I won't have much out before the Japanese one, but hopefully more by the time the American and then finally the European one rolls around late November and then early December. So they've got an Ancient Tomb and a Mana Crypt. Uh-oh. And a Grim Monolith. And a Grim Monolith. Tap them both, Bromeo. Yay! Mind Break Trap. Cool. So we'll waste their Ancient Tomb and leave them with 2 mana and see how we do. So this is Dual Shops, if you were wondering. So discard all the nonsense that we don't need. Cast another Hollow one. Wasteland your Ancient Tomb. Oh man, Mind Break Trap's so good. In for 5. Upkeep, blow up your life. Move on to game number 2. That's the plan. They've got 2 cards in hand. We'll let them resolve a flip as well. It doesn't matter, they'll still resolve the flip. They won the flip, how lucky. Put them in the graveyard, please. Cool, yeah, just how we said it would work. Cool, perfect. Post board against Dual Shops. I have no interest in anything else. Do we want to have an interest in Fury, or do we want to get blown out by a whole Reacher or something first? I think we want to get blown out before we do that. I'm going to bring in a Vigor and trim a Noxious. That sounds wild. Let's just trim a Squee then, I guess. We don't really need the engine too much. We need to not die and then kill them quickly. Obviously, there's games when we trade off everything and then we need the engine to build back in, but we don't need to be so wild about it, sort of thing. Duel historically a good matchup. The One Ring changed that. The One Ring made it very difficult because they can now chain the One Rings, fog us forever, drawing 3 cards per One Ring, and then we eventually die to that, you know. So post board, you can expect them to have Wormcoil engines or the Master Core that discards to Vindicate, and then after that they may occasionally have a whole Reacher or a Narset or some crap like that. But if you get a hand like that where you present some good threats and then interact, you know, sometimes once, sometimes you need twice with the increased blue count post MH3 on their side of things, yeah, you can kind of make it work. This is good. Chalice on the draw, not ideal, but A way to build into the game, a way to not die, and a way to not die. All looks good. City of Traitors, Grim Monolith, Black Lotus, okay. And they can just throw out a jewel here, and if their last two cards are force blue card, then we're probably under some pressure. No, their last two cards are not force blue card. I will let them untap with the City of Traitors, though, because I want to get my Bizarre Gaming going. And yeah, we got some Wastelands. Chalice will hopefully slow them down somewhat. If this is a one-ring turn, then that's problematic. But next turn we can get to the Wasteland section of the game. Oh yeah. And now you better believe they're not untapping with that city. The problem with winning with Squee, it's going to make me play Eternal Weekend at Squee when I was just going to play Dredge. Activate. Opponent has slowed down. I think I'm happy to bring Vengevine into play at the cost of Force of Negation. We've got a Chalice of the Void. We're about to Wasteland their only mana source. Cool. Let's attack for 4. Waste their city. And then next turn, try and get this Vigor online. Maybe they've got a Dismember or something. That, again, that might be a bit too aggressive, but I just feel like your opponent with no permanence and 3 cards in hand is one way you can take some liberties. So, I'm gonna. We've got an Academy. That's gonna die. Yeah. That is gonna die. Activate. And this is just the best. Oh yeah. Look at that. Straight back onto the negation. Binky for 5. God, I love this deck when it works. I actually think I'm quite excited. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was considering registering a Lurrus Saga challenge this evening, but I just can't imagine doing that right now. I might fiddle with the sideboard a bit. A workshop. I might fiddle with the sideboard a bit, because I feel like we don't need to be that aggressively sideboarded for Dredge, right? I feel like we could maybe sneak in a Caracas or something. But I should have Noxious a Wasteland here. My apologies for that. That could cost us a game, actually. They've got 1 ring into Force blue card. Opponent takes 5, falls to 6. Okay, so maybe I'll just be Noxiousing their Black Lotus on top of their deck. Because then they can't have 1 ring blue card Force of Will, right? Yeah, that should complete the game. If you draw that for me. Then I believe you can't cast a 1 ring and protect it. Correct. Cool, cheeky 4-1 there. We lost to Oath. I don't know how much you need all of this. This is a lot, in my opinion. I feel like these two, or like something like that, could be something else. 4 traps, 2 or 3 negate, 2-3 extractions. Yeah, that was fun though. I really quite like the subtleties They made bringing the Vengevines back so incredibly easy. If I was to play, if and when I play this again, I'm probably going to have 4 traps, 2 to 3 extractions, no ley lines. Echoing Deeps will be 1 to 2 petrified fields. Just because I think it's better. And then main deck looks great, and then that might make space for a couple more traps or a Caracas, something like that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.